Here. How we doing? Happy Saturday, chat. It's February 6th, 2021. Hopefully you guys are having a vibe-worthy afternoon. And maybe it did not involve Top Shot. Holy cow, what an experience that was an hour ago. Let's pop a bang. And get ready to hopefully come up with some sharp takes, picks, plays from today's slate. It is a rather big one. A lot of I don't want to say back-to-back. Some of them are, but a lot of games for the second time in a row, i.e. the Magic Bulls, stuff like that. And then we have a couple of games where we know some big usage guys are going to be out. The Brooklyn Nets fiasco is a fun thing that is in existence that we'll have to break down. I have this thing so weirdly set up. Anyway, what's up, chat? My bad on not having this thing scheduled earlier. I was caught up in the Top Shot stuff, and then so I had to like schedule it and then go live. So some of you guys didn't even get an opportunity to set a reminder for the stream, but we are live. Hey, last night, Nikola Vucevic, the beast of the night, 77.75 DKP. Now let's talk about how things got weird. Pascal Siakam, 39 minutes played, 33 real points, 11 rebounds. So I'm not saying that Kevin Durant's in and outness helped Siakam, but it certainly did not hurt, right? If we look at the Nets, Kevin Durant was able to play 19 minutes, most of them, all of them, I think, in the first half. I don't know what was going on. If you guys didn't catch that live, there was some contact tracing worries about KD, so he didn't start the game. So then we just thought, okay, well, if he didn't start, or maybe it was a faulty test, something like that, He'll probably just get that figured out and he'll come to the game. He came to the game, and then halfway through the game, they're like, he can't play. So they let him play for 17, 19 minutes. And then they were like, no, okay, you can't play now. So, like, if he was contaminated, he just played, nearly 20 minutes with the rest of the game, but now he can't play. It is none of it makes sense. Make it make sense. I don't get it. But yeah, Pascal Siakam was able to be the second highest scorer on the slate, but Nikola Vucevic, tier 1 all the way around. Love that. Al Horford, 57. So I had Vucevic as a tier 1. I did have several shares of Horford, but DraftKings, I had some of both. On FanDuel, this is an amazing case of some raw points getting you to the dance. So Horford was an elite play on FanDuel, but that extra 20 raw points at the center position likely did more damage. LaMelo starting with Terry Rozier, with Devontae Graham, with Gordon Hayward. 34 points, career high, 39 minutes played. Devontae Graham gets injured and doesn't return. But LaMelo, massive day for him. So if you guys paid $7K for him with everyone starting, you got rewarded. Tatum without Jaylen Brown was no surprise here, but this is what he needed, right? 55 and a quarter, just about 9K, but 40 minutes of his usage was nice. Kyle Lowry over Van Vliet was the play. Kawhi with no Paul George also dropping 50. So those guys did what they had to do. The rest of the slate, there's not a whole lot of shocks. Bojan Bogdanovic was huge. But past that, it was pretty much more of the same outside of maybe some names like Justin Holiday and guys like that. So hopefully you guys did well. I do want to make a note that we did discuss Alex Len's minutes on the stream. Somebody brought it up in chat. Definitely, on this slate, there really wasn't a need to get there. Because Horford and Vooch were kind of nutty. But something to monitor. That's a couple games in a row now of Alex Len getting 20-plus minutes. And we've seen him in years past be a volatile yet high upside player per minute. So watch that. And then TJ McConnell, 15 assists in 28 minutes. Almost double-double. Just some weird stuff there. But outside of that, the slate pretty much performed as expected. The Thunder were chalk. You were fine with 36 from Diallo. Is what it is. We'll move forward. We'll move on to the next one. We are live. Shout out to the YouTube chat. Crispy says, what up, Gun? Redux last night attacked Brooklyn. Okay, I see what you're saying. Ryan Gavin, yo, what's up, Ryan? Lorenza, Neil, Nade in the house. Gun, I need a win, bro. I'm down quite a bit. What's up, Ibsen Bracy? What's up, WWF Fresh? Your stream is fire. I appreciate that. It's either win or start smoking crack. I'm here for the 5 o'clock free crack giveaway. Man, this tastes a little different today. Sometimes I feel like I got a batch that has a little extra juice. That one feels like it might have a little extra juice. But Gun's about to hand out the heat. Man, today's slate's a little bit wild. If we just take a foreshadow glimpse here. So we get to run back Chicago and Orlando, and there was a lot of lucrative plays in that game yesterday. And then we sit around for an hour. So if you guys are the multi-entry guys and you get your CSV set for just the first game, you still have an extra hour basically before the slate even starts. I had hopes and aspirations that they would just leave this game off because there's still plenty of games left. So a whole hour of just one game going on. And then past that, we get a couple of second game in a row like Milwaukee and Cleveland. We do know James Harden looks like he's going to be the last of the Mohicans for the Nets. I think we saw that D'Angelo Russell was going to be out. The official report from Labs is Kevin Durant's questionable. So is there some shenanigans in play here? Could Kevin Durant end up playing this game? He's been rather vocal on Twitter. LBJ probable, AD's questionable, Joel Embiid questionable, Ben Simmons probable, Trae Young questionable, John Wall, Jamal Murray questionable, and SGA to be determined. And if we scroll down a little bit more, we know that D-Russ is doubtful for this game, so that will probably open up Malik Beasley. It's definitely going to be a slate to navigate through a lot of news and pending news. So have fun there. ETC, I won 2K last night in the tournament with Melo and Vucevic. Attaboy, ETC, let's go. No need to justify you were wrong. I wasn't really wrong much yesterday. Mr. Hustle, let's all get. What's up, Mr. Hustle? Desmond, you know that bang hits the spot when you hear a gun go, yeah. Nah, I love me some bang, man. But I'm saying this one tastes a little bit more juicy. Need a few more spots in our labs. All right, we'll try and speed round it. I feel like this is going to bleed over to my VIP obligations just a little bit. But we'll see. There were two. All right. Man, that Top Shot drop, that just took a lot of steam out of my morning. Anyway, let's go speed around here. Let me make sure I got all the tabs up. Looks like it's just going to be me, but that's fine. I'm going to try and get you guys. Man, I don't think I can do the whole slate in 45 minutes, but we're going to try. We're going to try. Game number 1. Chicago Bulls at the Orlando Magic. Project 35 for the Bulls. Kobe White, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, Thaddeus Young, Daniel Gafford taking on Cole Anthony, Evan Fournier, James Ennis III, Gary Clark Jr., and Nikola Vucevic. Do we have yesterday's popcorn machine? We do. I'm going to kind of explain the situation that occurred anoche for the Bulls and Orlando. First of all, Vucevic had 40 fantasy points at half. That's what you want. Was it not Otto? Who got injured halfway through? Markkanen, not halfway through. Markkanen played 17 minutes, got injured, left, did not come back. So in his absence, we saw Thad Young pick up the entire fourth quarter. Thad Young's already been the apple of our eye for a lot of lineups in the last couple of days. So I'm going to go right back to some Thad Young exposure today. The caveat to Thad Young, at least on FanDuel, is that he's listed as a center. So you feel like you don't want to necessarily give up a center spot. You're paying $7K for him. More than likely, you're going to want Vucevic. You're probably going to want some Joel Embiid against the Nets, stuff like that. So I do think Thad Young is going to lean more so to my player pool on DraftKings than FanDuel. But again, he's in a spot to benefit without Lauri Markkanen. He is officially probable, even though the site says GTD with a back. So he's sticking out as somebody I like quite early on. Another thing that I thought when Markkanen went down, I thought Zach LaVine could benefit because a lot of the big Zach LaVine games from the season coincided with the fact that Markkanen was out. So just out of curiosity, we go to this on-off court tool. Let's go pull up the Chicago Bulls, and let's take off Lauri Markkanen. And I guess we could take off Markkanen and Wendell Carter Jr. just since it's a pair of starters, not to slew any sample size. And let's put Kobe and Zach LaVine on. I'm not gonna mess with Thad Young or anything like that. So LaVine on and Kobe White. And I think we still have Otto out, right? Is Otto? Do I got him out? Yeah, Otto Porter out. So Zach LaVine, 32% usage rate over fantasy point per minute. Kobe White, 1.2 fantasy point per minute. It's under 100 minutes of sample size, but I don't really see a reason why that wouldn't be something that we could expect today. So I'll go right back to some exposure on LaVine and Kobe White on FanDuel, 5,600. Probably a dangerous price there. Several players to like, I think, on the Bulls side. Even Denzel Valentine was a solid play yesterday. Guards against the Magic are delivering. On the Magic side, you really could have walked away with a three-man Magic stack. Cole Anthony was fantastic for his price point on both sides. I think he was flirting with 40 fantasy points. Evan Fournier, chip in a chair here at 6'7", 6'4". I think the median range of outcome is mid-30s fantasy points. So I wouldn't be too aggressive with it, but I'd probably have a share or two just in case you got super hot. And then there's no reason not to go right back to Vucevic here. No Eric Gordon. We love bigs against this Bulls front court, and we just saw him do whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted. Yesterday, you do feel like DFS is not going to give us this free spot 2 days in a row, but 29 shot attempts, chucked 4 from 3 from behind the arc, and almost 20 rebounds. At 8-9, I'd take 50. I do think 50 is something that maybe we should expect here versus the 70, but there's no reason not to play the right play in the right matchup, even if you do feel like it might be too good to be true to get this game 2 days in a row. So the math for me says to play Vooch, and I'm going to play Vooch. Anyone else from this game, chat, before we move on to the next one? Yes, okay, Sabonis definitely was my Achilles heel yesterday. Was in some of my top stuff. WF Fresh, are you able to cash out of Top Shots? I do have a withdraw button. I haven't used it yet, but probably after this stream. I have one more Bobon card that I paid $450 for, and I think it's dropping down to $200. I'm seeing a whole lot of people losing confidence and hope in that website, so I might just pull out and come back when it's out of beta because it's just been a waste of time. I don't want to say a waste of time because I turned $15 into $1,000, but it's just I don't know. Hitting refresh for a couple days when I could be doing other stuff just to, yeah, anyway. Pete says, my Pistons, who rival the T-Wolves as the worst team, will be smoked by the Lakers tonight, so give me some Horton Tucker. I can with that. Played Mason at mid-price. Frank Mason, okay. What are you doing on DraftKings with Horford, Cousins, Vooch, all looking like must-plays with 2 center spots? Yeah, that's another guy who mentioned. Christian Wood's going to be down with lower leg injury, right? So DeMarcus Cousins opens up. So it's going to be wide open for the center spot, and I don't think there's any margin for error. You got to get the guy that's going to score the most points between those three. 100 lineups, how much Vooch, tier 1? Versus, so Horford is somebody I think I could pull back a little bit on, just a little bit, because last night was crazy. We'll see if any news comes out for that one, because I think there's a chance SGA could play as it stands now. So he'd probably be the third option there, especially he's an older guy too, right, for the league standards. So I'd probably be looking at Vooch and Boogie. I think Vooch is the guy I'm most confident to play a lot of minutes, and then Boogie just is going to dominate for the minutes that he does play. But I don't know that I don't know how much we're gonna put on him just yet. But they're all in elite spots. Favorite play on the Bulls right now, it's on DraftKings. It's Thad Young easily. He's probably going to open up a lot of minutes with Markkanen out, Porter still down. And then Zach LaVine, 8'5", 8'6". I mean, this was Zach LaVine. This was Zach LaVine's heyday, his price right here earlier this season without Markkanen, without Wendell Carter. Just out of curiosity, Zach LaVine, DKP by game log versus, let's put without Lauri Markkanen last 10 games. And then it just might be deep minutes. Yeah, 66, 59, 46. So 40 plus for the last 5 games without Markkanen. And there's only one game in his last 10 that was less than 40 fantasy points. And that's a good floor to start with. I think he's going to play deep minutes. And I think we've seen guards absolutely shred the Magic lately. And it only makes sense without Fultz, without MCW. We talked about Fred VanVleet having a career high. So probably Levine and Thad Young, and I'd run them at Cole Anthony and Vucevic for points per dollar. And then if I was going to stretch out a little bit, I think you could look at what Patrick Williams did yesterday. I'd taper my expectations. You could look at Kobe White's price point, and then you probably add in Evan Fournier. And let's move on to the next game. Toronto Raptors, night 2 of a back-to-back, taking on the Atlanta Hawks. Project starting 5 for the Raptors: Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell, Pascal Siakam, Aaron Baines, up against Trae Young, Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish Jr., John Collins, and Clint Capella. Were you guys around for the pre-lock questionable tag on Aaron Baines? He was apparently dealing with a groin injury, and then it just disappeared, and it was fine. So we'll see if that flares up today. I ended up playing a nice chunk of Chris Boucher yesterday, just anticipating that Baines might be out. You know, those midday cues, I lean out. Baines, instead of playing 32-29 minutes, he played 18 minutes against the Nets. And then I stuck with the Boucher exposure, and it paid off. But he is center only. Most of my exposure yesterday, I think, was on FanDuel. 27 minutes against Brooklyn, 32 fantasy points. So maybe keep an eye on that situation. Maybe they baby Baines a little bit, but I don't think we give up that center spot at all today. So we got to be really, really vigilant in what we're doing here. Trae Young is questionable for the Hawks. I think he missed that last game. We got a lackluster game from Rajon Rondo, who's dealing with a right calf contusion. He did miss that Jazz game, but he was upgraded from doubtful to questionable for Saturday's game. Hawks will probably see how he feels following a morning shoot around. I haven't seen any news on that just yet. So I think because of where I'm going to be at center, I don't have a ton of money to pay up at point guard, and if I do, it's going to be on James Harden. So Trae Young might slip through the cracks. Whoa. If Trae Young is going to miss, historically, we've seen a usage and points per minute bump for John Collins. Matchup isn't bad, isn't good. I'd probably take some stabs at it, but I do think this is going to be one of those price points that just fall through the cracks. If I'm going to pay up at center, go get Harden, I don't know that I have a whole lot of 7 to 8K range left for some forwards. So just kind of keeping that in mind here. The Raptors do give up a ton of points in the paint, 40.5 points in the paint per game. Clint Capella lives in the paint. I still think he needs somebody to create his shot for him. You can't just pass him the ball and hope he spin move dunks, but AK 8,500, we've seen upside there. I think my center pool is going to be extremely limited, members only, and I don't know if Capella is going to be a member for me today. I guess another thing to mention about the Raptors is that they are allowing an elevated amount of blocks per game. If we look at blocks per game allowed, the Raptors are allowing a top 10 amount, almost a top 8, 5.8. So maybe there's some block potential here if you really wanted to attack them on like a turbo or something like that. I'm sure there'd be some turbos without that Bulls game. So maybe if you thought you'd get a little cute there, go for it. No warm and fuzzies here. VanVleet 84, Lowry 8K. We've seen both these guys give you an argument at their price point. Lowry was well on his way yesterday. At one point, the freaking Raptors had like 60 real points. VanVleet had 5 of them. I was like, that's DFS. Curtain call a 50-plus real point game with 5 at half or whatever. And then Siakam 8-9 to 7-7 on DraftKings. If he gets there, he gets there. I just don't know if that price point or that price range is going to have much for me the way my early mindset is for lineup construction. But chat, what are you guys doing with this one before we matriculate on to the next one? ETC said, do you think Lonzo Ball's a sneaky play, starting to get more of a scoring role now? Is he still in the 6K or less range? If so, sure. I'll revisit that question in just a minute. Pete says, I played Boucher, he did his thing, but tonight he gets Capella, not an old DeAndre Jordan. Yeah, that's fair. Yesterday needs to disappear. 66% Vooch, 66% Sabonis, 59% Westbrook. Oh man, I was on the Sabonis train as well. That hurt. What are you gonna do? Wish we could play 8 centers sometimes.
Ah, man, there was a site that let you. Was it Fantasy Draft?
I think they used to let you play forward centers, like 4 or 5 of them. How do you feel about Powell tonight? Norman Powell, 6'4", 6'8". I think the matchup's okay. I think Norman Powell is just one of those. He's right there at like that Evan Fournier range where it gets me mid-30s. All right, cool. On a tournament night like this with as many games as we have, I probably need that 40+. It's viable. It's possible. But I certainly don't have it as a common or a median range of outcomes. So I'd probably be a little skittish to go overzealous with it. Just out of curiosity, is there a recent influx of success against Atlanta at the small forward position? Atlanta's a little bit league average. They've really suffered against point guard, so I don't know, maybe an extra boost for Lowry. But, man, my lineup construction seems hard to get away from this early. I feel good about Boucher as good as I feel for Algo. Is that a D's Nuts joke, or is that like a stock? I'll go and drop these nuts on your... No, I don't know. I don't know. All right. Let's move on to the next game. Bucks at the Cleveland Cavaliers. Project starting 5 for the Bucks. Drew Holiday, Dante DiVincenzo, Chris Middleton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez. Taking on Darius Garland, Colin Sexton, Isaac Okoro, Tarin Prince, Andre, the Giant, Drummond, 229.5 total, 10.5 point spread in favor of the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, would we just hit repeat on what we said yesterday? Giannis Antetokounmpo at this price needs to be the highest scorer on the slate. Yesterday, I think he was right there. I think he was right below Vooch. He'll give you the 60+ at 11K. Are you dead if you don't have it? No. If you have it, cool. You built around it. And that's the analyzation on that. Dante DiVincenzo showed up and showed out yesterday. I feel like this might have been a little bit of an anomaly. 37 DKP. He shot 4 for 9, 11 rebounds. Seems a little bit high. I mean, we're talking triple his average. He averages 4 rebounds, so almost triple his average. That helped him put up a pretty high ceiling. If you want to go back to it, I mean, the Cavs. They are one of the lowest defensive rebounding teams, maybe at 4,400 on FanDuel. You run it back, but I'm not really pushing the issue there. Everything else is just kind of standard. I talk about Brook Lopez and how the Cavs allow 6.1 blocks per game, and Brook averages several blocks per game, or 1.5 blocks per game. But again, the center spot seems spoken for me. So I think this game is more the same from yesterday. If you liked some errant shots at Drummond, he's getting really cheap on both sides. He was fine per min, but it's all about the mins, right? And like I said, if I'm the Cavs organization, know I'm about to rent out Andre Drummond. I want to take care of him. But 30 minutes against Milwaukee, 38 fantasy points, under 7K. I'm sure we'd want some errant stabs at that pre-flop on a normal slate. But today, center is just center. I don't know if that lets me down. Maybe the Bucks get tricky and baby Giannis or something on a back-to-back with this one on the road, but there's nothing out there to really put any credence to that or any validity to that. So I'm just going to expect this to be more of the same as yesterday. So unless you guys have some sneaky plays from this one, we're going to keep it moving. 10.5 point spread. I see nothing in chat. Rowan says thoughts on Brunson. Brunson was going bananas against the Warriors last game. I will touch on that game a lot in just a minute. Spurs at the Rockets. Next game on the docket. Project starting 5 for the Spurs. Dejounte Murray, Derek White, DeMar DeRozan, Keldon Johnson, Jakob Poeltl. Am I not Poeltl enough for the Poeltl Club? Poeltl. John Wall, Victor Oladipo, Jason Tate, PJ Tucker, and DeMarcus Boogie Cousins bringing it in for the Rockets. We know Christian Wood is down. DeMarcus Cousins 5'9" on FanDuel, 6'3" on DraftKings. Has to be a tier 1. I absolutely understand the 1v1 struggle between him and Vucevic. Vucevic has 70 fantasy point potential like we saw last night, and DeMarcus Cousins should overperform this salary pretty easily. Will this be kind of like a Horford Vooch situation last night? Again, Vooch went Super Saiyan ceiling, and DeMarcus Cousins could just get 30 minutes and put up, that 50 bomb as well. And then if it's 50 versus 70, you probably want the 70 as raw points on a normal slate. But DeMarcus Cousins will ease the stress of salary, getting some hardened lineups in. If you are a believer in Vucevic is not going to do that in back-to-back days, that's understandable. 70 certainly is a ceiling for anyone, and then any basketball team would probably spend the night trying to adjust and prevent Vucevic from taking 30 shots, having nearly 20 rebounds. With that said, points per dollar, all things considered, DeMarcus Cousins, if we're going to put him at 30 minutes against anybody, I put him against a brick wall, there's a good chance he's going to drop 50. So if he's going to give me a chip in a chair for 50 fantasy points, I got him right now for 44 fantasy points on both sides. There's no doubt in my mind that's going to project as my top value play on the slate. And it doesn't, because Isaiah Roby and Bruce Brown are there. But Boogie is a top value play with over 40 fantasy points. So no reason to not tier 1 Boogie on either side here. I'm going to have a whole lot of Boogie and Vooch on DraftKings. John Wall, Depot, I think we spin the wheel on them. We're hoping for 40 fantasy points. It's very possible, very viable. On the Spurs side, Jakob Poeltl on any other slate, I might have some shots on him, but center's just loaded today. I don't know if I go there. Like, it's the same price. I'm probably just playing Boogie. So Jakob Poeltl is just going to fall through for me today. Keldon Johnson, if you want some flop lag bucks on him, he owes us from that Timberwolves letdown. DeMar DeRozan, anytime DeRozan's in the game without LaMarcus Aldridge, sure, we'll take some shots on that. The Houston Rockets, since the Harden trade, when they have both Wall and Depot on the court, and even Boogie to an extent, but mostly Wood, they have been a top tier defense. It's a short sample size, but their defense has been putting up some surprising numbers, and teams haven't really been going bananas on them outside of that weird Thunder game, but the total score was like 90-70 or something. So I'm not really pushing the high ownerships in my personal pool on the Spurs side, but like I said, on any other day, I'd be looking at Poeltl. And I think today would just tier 3 DeRozan. If he falls, he falls. But give me all of the Boogie. What are you guys doing with this one before we move on? What's up, Ben Snapping? How we doing? Jayshawn Tate, an option if we're looking for some cheaper shots at 30 fantasy points at 5.4. Maybe. I do feel like I wish he was a little on the south side of 5K to feel like I'm getting a great deal, because the last couple games for Tate, 37-11, wide range of outcomes. But the last couple games, there's been a Wall or a Depot out. And in this one, if they both play, I do think Wall is still questionable. Then I have a little less hope for him. Just looking at, he'll probably be a step above PJ Tucker, but there's really not a lot for me to put on him usage-wise and to feel comfortable. If Wall doesn't play, then sure, maybe we consider him a little bit more, but they'll probably be like a Depot, Eric Gordon, Tate, Tucker, Boogie lineup. We'll see. Back spasms for Wall, by the way. Let's get back into the live chat. Juliano says, Gunn, I joined late. What in the world happened with Durant last night? And he's now upgraded to questionable. Does your guy TLC get a look if Durant is out? I don't know if TLC would start, but he definitely would be in the conversation for deep minutes. And that's really when I was ever playing TLC, is when he was playing 35 minutes in the bubble, and he was just peripheral his way on a team full of G Leaguers. Like, I don't know that I would high prioritize him today. I think Bruce Brown is going to be the net not named James Harden for me if KD is out. But yeah, that KD circus fiasco was just nonsense last night. And I don't know, it's easy to point fingers and blame, but it's also just such an unprecedented time that we have the luxury of sitting back and and laughing at the lack of sometimes the lack of logic behind some of those decisions. Because we also seen there was a small precedent for that. We saw that happen to Jonas Valanciunas with the Grizzlies, right? Like, he got benched mid-game for contact tracing, and Seth Curry as well. And that was some nonsense for the Sixers team. So it's not like it was the first time it happened, but you feel like it's just, wow, the wonkiness and the shenanigans. But shout out to DraftKings. Their sports book offered refunds for all of the prop bets involving KD. DraftKings has really been stepping up this year and just being quick with trying to make things right. So much love to them for that. What is Cousins' ownership? I gotta assume it's 50%, if not more. I'd probably start at 50, and then we wiggle the seesaw based on Vucevic and his trendiness. But Boogie is a much easier path to James Harden than Vucevic is, more than likely, right? No Deontay if he plays. If Deontay did play, sure, he's got a chip in a chair to drop 40-plus fantasy points. But again, that higher, that 7 to 8K, really a 7 to 9K price range is going to be hard to get to with a high level of confidence. Because even if we just flash forward a little bit, just a little bit, we still got to deal with OKC. Diallo's still under 6K. He's in a dream spot if SGA doesn't play, same as yesterday. And then D-Russ is out, and Malik Beasley would probably be the mid-6K guy that we chase, and maybe Ricky Rubio. So I just feel like that 7 to 9K range for even guard and forward is just going to be really awkward to get to if we prioritize like Harden 1 and then try to get 1 or 2 of these centers depending on what site we're playing on. So kind of where I'm at there. You should probably play Joe Harris if both are out. I think that's very fair, and we'll talk about that now. Brooklyn Nets at the Philadelphia 76ers. Project starting 5 for the Nets: James Harden, Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, DeAndre Jordan taking on Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Danny Green, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid. The Brooklyn injury situation. We know for sure Kyrie Irving's going to be out with the right index finger sprain. Shams reported that one. TLC, I thought he was injured, but he's not. Kevin Durant, health and safety protocols. I don't know that he even traveled with the team, but it wouldn't be a far travel. But he's at best questionable. Apparently, Durant was in contact with someone on Friday who subsequently tested positive for COVID. KD himself has tested negative multiple times in the past day, but he could still miss more time due to the league's contact tracing protocols. According to ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, the NBA will start to do work on how much time and in what proximity Durant was to the associate who tested positive for the coronavirus. That'll help determine how long he has to stay in the health and safety protocol. In other words, he's out Saturday, but beyond that remains uncertain. So, seems like KD's out. So we just assume KD's out as of now. If it changes, it changes. That would be some... Imagine the helicopter lands at halftime. He's not even supposed to be here. Kevin Durant enters the game. I don't know. So as of now, I'm imagining KD out, Kyrie out, which is going to create an insane usage opportunity for James Harden. I got Harden projected for 40 minutes. We see this several times this season, no matter where James Harden's at. If he's going to be the guy, you have to play him. More than likely, he's going to give us a strong shot at 70 fantasy points, not being facetious. Now let's go check out the Philadelphia 76ers injury news and notes, because they have a lot to kind of absorb as well. Ben Simmons officially probable, Seth Curry questionable with an illness, and then Joel Embiid questionable with a sore right knee. He got hurt during Thursday's game, but the questionable tag is terrific news for fans, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that first quarter when Joel Embiid got hurt, he left the game, and we all panicked on Twitter. He came back. He dropped 25 points in the second quarter, 25 real points. And then the game kind of blew out on the weird side of a blowout, right? Injuries, knee injuries, ankle rolls, all that type of stuff. I mean, you play through the adrenaline in the moment, but you give it a day or two and it swells up. So ain't no telling what the situation is on Embiid. So I definitely think we need to watch that with some vigilance. And I also feel like Joel Embiid might be one of the most obvious 70 bombs on the slate if he did play. And here we are with Boogie and Vucevic. So the center, I don't know if I can remember the last time center was this absolutely loaded. And it's wild today. If Embiid were not to play, you could full stack Sixers. This game should be fast paced. The Nets defense is going to suffer. Ben Simmons should do just fine at 8,500 on DraftKings, 9K on FanDuel. I still take some shots there. Toby, Even Danny Green has a case at 38 on FanDuel 4K. So might be one of those days. Dwight Howard versus DeAndre Jordan also would be interesting. Is there any shot DeAndre gets babied on a back-to-back? They sent Reggie Perry down, right? So maybe Jeff Green gets some deeper minutes if that was something that was even in their thought process. On the Nets, I think the Nets become stackable. I would also say that maybe we'd be a little bit cautious. I don't want to call the Nets for a blowout, but the Sixers have been, outside that last game, pretty good at home. And the Nets' defense is just so bad that it's going to be all or nothing on their offense. If their offense is having a poor shooting night on a back-to-back, I can see the Sixers kind of pulling away. But pre-flop, James Harden, 40 minutes for him. If I get 40 minutes of 40% usage rate, James Harden, I'm in. I'm a buyer. Joe Harris, 5-3 on FanDuel, 6K on DraftKings. Probably will be second on the team in shot attempts, hits for a high percentage. Don't know that I would expect a lot of peripherals, but I could see a 20-plus real point game for him. Bruce Brown, 4,300 on FanDuel, 3,500 on DraftKings. That's really, really cheap for the minutes I have on him, nearly 30 minutes. If he lines up as a small forward, him and Bruce Brown would just be a mix and match. The wing spot has been pretty successful against the 76ers so far this season for a fantasy perspective. So the reduced price on Brown, I'd be a buyer. And then, like I said, Jeff Green, I'd take some stabs at a 5-1, 5-2, just hoping for 30, but I would probably tier 3 at best. Landry Shamet, 3,800, 3,300. Sure, I'd take a shot or two on that. And then Luwawu, if I were able to project him for deeper minutes, I might have a little bit of interest. But the majority of my front-end interest is going to start with James Harden. Everyone else is just going to be like a tier 3 shot, Brown, Harris, and Green. And then the Sixers would really be contingent on Joel Embiid's status. And then, do we play Joel Embiid? There's at 10.5K, Embiid absolutely could drop 60-plus fantasy points himself. And he's going against probably the best matchup you could ask for, all things considered right now. But, man, Vooch is cheaper and Boogie's cheaper, so it's hard to I don't know. It's hard to really feel. It's hard. All these centers are in good spots, man. It's tough. It's tough. Ben Snapper says, I'm getting about 20%. Joe Harris, he's consistent. Yeah, I'm with that. Desmond says, love Jeff Green for value. 5K, looking for 30+. I'm with it. KD stays hanging with people who get COVID. I feel like we know KD has had it, but, has he had it twice yet or not? I don't know. Sixers are undefeated at home this year with Joel, Tobias, and Ben in the lineup. Giuliano says 12:28. You called TLC. He had 39 minutes, 36 FanDuel points with Durant. It's all about the minutes for TLC, Giuliano. And that was that before? That was before the Harden trade, right? TLC is my tier 1 tonight if Durant is out. If we put him at high minutes, sure, I'm with it. I got him at 18 minutes. Maybe I'm really low on that. Yeah, maybe I'm really low on that, but yeah, that's where I'm at. But I do think he certainly has a case for 30 minutes. And yeah, it's Seth Curry illness. If Seth Curry was out, we actually saw a Korkmaz draw start last game, and I was all amped to play Shake Milton, and that didn't happen. So I don't know. One lineup on FanDuel, need a center, price not an option. Oh. If price isn't up, man, that's so tough. Center's so tough. If you took the prices off of Vooch, Boogie, and Embiid, if they were all the same price, I don't know which one I feel the strongest about. Center is just stacked today, super stacked. So I spin the wheel, make a deal, man. Harden might play the entire game tonight. Yeah, we've seen Harden play really, really deep minutes in this spot several times this season. Even saw it earlier this season on the Rockets. So 11K, high price to pay for him, but we just know what his potential is. 90-plus fantasy point potential if all things go the way he wants and keep it competitive. Let's move on to the next game here. Timberwolves at the Oklahoma City Thunder. Projects 35 for the T-Wolves. Ricky Rubio, Malik Beasley, Josh Okogie, Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid. You can hate me now. Up against Hamidou Diallo, Kenrich Williams, Darius Baisley, Isaiah Roby, and Al Horford. We got a 219 total, a 2-point spread in favor of the Oklahoma City Thunder. If we go check out the injury report here on the T-Wolves, we got D'Angelo Russell doubtful. He did play a noche, but he's out tonight, which opens up Malik Beasley a little bit more, but he's pushing the 7K range, so I absolutely have to have that 40-plus fantasy points, so it does feel a little bit more volatile. And then on the Thunder side, we're looking a lot like we were yesterday, but I do want to pull up their injury report because SGA had as to be determined. So unless something dropped while I've been blabbering chat, it seems like there's at least a loose chance that SGA makes this game. So let me pull up OKC. SGA left knee sprain is, quote, nothing serious. Said both SGA and Lou Dort's knee injuries are nothing serious, and that, quote, those guys are both better today than they were yesterday. He couldn't offer a timeline on their individual returns, but we'll take good news when we can take it. Ham Diallo will be busy tonight until both of them are back. So that was from yesterday. So that was a really vague statement on SGA's status. So until further news comes out to kind of really give us a little bit more confidence on SGA, I have Ham Diallo. I have the same lineup that started last night projected to start today. And we could just chase those same points, right? 219 total. Ham Diallo, under 6K on both sides. Probably going to play extremely deep minutes unless SGA stuns us. I got him at 37 minutes. Should lead the entire team in minutes. If we can muscle a point per minute, I'll take 35, 45 fantasy point range outcome. Kenrich Williams, man, me and Raj got into a little debate before lock. He was way higher in Kenrich Williams than I thought was fair. Just to kind of explain to you guys, Kenrich Williams DKP by game log with 30 minutes last. Let's go 85 games. So what this does is going to look at the last 85 games, and it's going to show us the games that Kenrich Williams got 30 minutes. And the reason I pulled this up is because I wanted to show that his floor isn't great for his ownership and his upside. Now, you're seeing there's volatility in his game log, and there is upside. If you got you 30-plus, you want it. But yesterday, people were sharing exposures with me, and they had over 40% Kenrich Williams, and you can see there's not a 40% range of outcome with 30 minutes that Kenrich Williams is a great play. If he gets you really 24 or less today at this price, he's not going to do much to get you first place. I will say yesterday with just 20 fantasy points, maybe some people, his ownership is a fraction of what it was last night today, and maybe you can leverage that a little bit and not feel like you have to go crazy with it. But it is something I wanted to exhibit aesthetically. So yeah, there's that. Baisley, I'll go right back to the Baisley well. He wasn't anything crazy yesterday, but a 6'6", 6'1" for 35 minutes. I'll have a shot. And then Al Horford went absolutely bananas yesterday. I thought that he could lead the team in usage. He basically did. 8 assists. Flirted with a triple-double. But one thing to notice, he didn't exceed the 29-minute threshold, so he really just went bonkers in under 30 minutes. So with that, we can kind of be confident to say that he's not going to be a deep minute guy for them. So maybe like Vucevic, 57 might be more of a ceiling than anything else based on the minutes played. And then maybe Al Horford's a guy that on a night 2 of a back-to-back there, even more trepidatious with running deep. So kind of keep that in mind. He's just added to an extremely stacked center pool today where we got Vucevic, we got Embiid, we got DeMarcus Cousins. So it's hard to long-term love Al Horford here, but the matchup doesn't get much better than the Minnesota Timberwolves. Really, really bad defensive efficiency, and this lineup looks like a all-star G League lineup. So not really, and I guess you could say that about both teams. So not really much in the way of defense to push me away. So if I got minutes projected on somebody that I think is too cheap, I'm going to play him. Even Isaiah Roby, I'll have some shares of that. 3,700. He's actually projected as my top value play right now. In my personal projections, 8.39x of value. If we look at what he did yesterday, and we could play him at the forward spot, 34 fantasy points. I definitely like him a little bit more, or a lot bit more than Kenrich Williams. So give me all the Roby as a forward value. And I guess we're going to double down on Ham Diallo. Chat, where are you guys at on Ricky Rubio? I got him for a solid return at 28, 29 fantasy points at 5K-ish. And then Beasley's kind of the question mark for me just because I think he's going to benefit without D-Russ. But, man, is 7K, is that on the edge of comfort? I don't know. I'll throw it to you, chat, before we go on to the next game. How are we feeling about a minimum value Roby tonight? He ate last night. I like Roby more than Kenrich for sure. If SGA is out, could you trust Diallo over Beasley with no D-Lo tonight? Could I trust Diallo over Beasley? Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I think Beasley might have some more ceiling to him, probably. But floor, I think we'll go with Diallo. Anyway, that's that. How many games we got left? We got 3 games? Man, I am making pace, bro. I'm on one. Give me a thumbs up if you like the speed rounds of DFS breakdown. Rather go Cole Anthony over Rubio. I'm okay with that. I love the Cole Anthony Vucevic handcuff yesterday. Golden State Warriors at the Dallas Mavericks. Project 35 for the Mavs. Steph Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Kelly Oubre, Juan Toscano Anderson, Draymond Green taking on Luka Doncic, Josh Richardson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, Kristaps Porzingis, 232 total, 4-point spread in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. Kelly Oubre is 7K on FanDuel. Holy, 6,200 on DraftKings, coming off a literal career night, and he scored a career high in real points. Draymond Green's coming off a really rock-solid game. Something going his way. James Wiseman out, Kevin Looney out. And in that game, Eric Pascal was out. Pascal, I believe, is questionable. So if Pascal did play, maybe he eats up 20 minutes that could come from a Draymond's minute supply. So kind of keep an eye on that. Since the swelling in Pascal's knee has gone down, he was able to get some shots up at Friday's practice. If Pascal's available Saturday, Juan Toscano Anderson will likely see a reduced workload. I also think a couple minutes from Draymond as well. Draymond's assist rate was really, really high last game. I think he doubled with assists and points, and I thought he might get more rebounds. He didn't. 15 assists. So looking a little bit more like that vintage Draymond at 6K. If you think a 40-plus fantasy point performance is in the cards again, I wouldn't push back at you. Steph Curry, 9'6", 9'7". Steph Curry really might fall through the cracks as well, all things considered, with the way that Harden's going to assume a lot of that 10, 11K budget with the medium value at the guard spot, the Ham Diallos, the Cole Anthony's, guys like that. So Steph Curry might have lower ownership than maybe he should. And then on the Mavericks side, Luka Doncic, 10-7, 11-1. In a 1v1, is there a world today where Luka Doncic outscores James Harden? It's just a better raw points play. Obviously, the answer is yes, there is a chance that happens. And if you think there's a chance that happens, maybe if you're running 100, 150, you play a little bit of leverage here, and you have a third of maybe your Harden, because he's probably going to be, man, I don't even know what to project Luka at, but he's probably going to be, man, maybe even a fourth, a fifth, a sixth of Harden's ownership just because of where the salary's at. Obviously, Harden's the smarter play pre-flop with the numbers in front of us. But there's still a world where Luka does Luka things at this price point. And now in FanDuel, you could probably play them both with as loose as their pricing tends to get. So there's that. I'm not really pushing the issue on these other Mavs. Jalen Brunson went ballistic in his minutes played. If you think this game gets gets more shootout-y like the last one, maybe you go after Brunson again. But 22 minutes against the Golden State Warriors, 18 real points, 3 for 5 from 3, 6 for 9. Shot extremely efficient. 45 at 28 fantasy points, that's about what I need for tournaments. Just an idea in the back of my mind. Looking at the live chat before we move on, Ricky says Ryan Saunders doesn't like giving his starter heavy minutes, so I think Malik is kind of risky. Do we think that? Like, how risky? I get what you're saying, though. The usage, I think, will be there, but Beasley, you don't think Beasley could get a 35-minute game here? 32, 32, 33. Yeah, maybe. 34 against Orlando. Just out of curiosity. Malik Beasley, DKP by game log without D'Angelo Russell last 10 games. Just look at the minute counts. 30, 30, 31, 34, 29, 34. So there are some low minute games. I would imagine some of these 20s. Oh, that's Denver. 29. I wonder if some of these are also blowouts. But you got 34 against Denver. That was a revenge game. 31, 30. It would take 30. I'd chip it a chair 30 minutes. But, yeah. See what you guys got. JTA all day. Solid says, no, Luka ain't outscoring. Solo, Beard, no chance. I guess the math will always say James Harden, but there's at least a range of outcomes that the latter happens, right? Desmond says Steph Curry or Trae Young. Right now, I'd lean Steph. If Trae Young did play, maybe he gets back on that 50-plus fantasy point streak that he was on. But I think right now he's at best questionable. Do you think Patrick Williams snapped tonight? Well, he did great last night. And with Otto Porter out, with Thad Young having to pick up some of those marketing minutes, maybe 34 minutes is back to Patrick Williams. 4,400. This was a top 10 pick in the draft. I don't remember which one he went, but he was a top draft pick for them. Maybe this is more of what they're looking for. Sure. I don't. Snap might be a strong word, right? I think the median range of outcomes probably like 25, 30. Maybe 25. But I do think the minutes are his to lose until further notice. Too many good under 5K plays? Absolutely. Ryan Sanders actually an idiot. Man. That's what FanDuel is. You have to be risky to win big. Yeah, it's the game theory leverage. Like the Harden versus Luka is really just a game theory exercise. Obviously, we all know what the best optimal play is, but the optimal lineup at 6:50 isn't the optimal lineup at 11 p.m., right? It's just weird stuff happens. Lorenzo says Wiggins will have that defense on Luka. I'm not. Dort's a game time decision gun. Gotcha. Appreciate that. That's it. I'm probably not getting with these. Chat, would you guys run back some Juan Toscano Anderson almost with or without Pascal? I got Pascal projected for 20 minutes. Could I take on DraftKings 4,200 minutes of JTA at 31 projected minutes, 4,200? I think I might. I could put him at the small forward spot, 30, 20. He's 40 minutes might be a little outlandish, a little ambitious, but man, could I get 30 minutes out of JTA? Could I get 25, 35 fantasy point window? I think it's possible. And Oubre, everyone, yay or nay on Oubre? Are you guys? If you were at the Oubre slot machine, you got paid out, right? We're getting up, we're leaving now. Is that it? He shot 40 real points in that Mavericks game. Absolutely, was the game we were waiting on. If you were playing him faithfully, 21 real shots, 66%, 7 for 10 from beyond the arc. I don't know if it's going to get much better. He stayed at 6,200 if you think there's some room for upside on DraftKings. Clearly there is. Maybe Draymond setting up his shot was better than Steph Curry setting up his shot. I don't know, man. I don't know. Porzingis will be tonight's Vucci game. You like Porzingis, 7'8", 8'2". You can play him at the power forward spot. Do like talented bigs against the Warriors front court. 25 minutes, dropped 41 fantasy points. Yeah, if that game stays closer, right? That was a 30-point swing. That 25 minutes becomes 34 minutes. Yeah, he absolutely could drop 60 in this spot and just be kind of slept on. I like that call quite a bit, Pete. Warriors are short on players. Imagine chasing an Oubre career game. So at 6,200, though, you don't need the career game if you're getting 35 fantasy points. I still think it's DraftKings 6,200. I still think it's worth considering because all season long the shot volume has been there. It's just he wasn't hitting the shots, and now with Draymond and Steph both dishing the way that they were in that game at least, and the Mavericks have just been horrendous on defense this season. Maybe you're getting better shot creation for Oubre. I don't know. You got to think Oubre's confidence is up. Don't know if I can trust it. I like him more on DraftKings than FanDuel, though. Lorenzo says, going if SGA and Dort is in, would that affect Roby? Absolutely. Roby probably doesn't even start on that lineup. So, absolutely. Big time. Moving on to the next game, Grizzlies at the Pelicans. Project starting 5 for the Grizzlies. John Morant, Dylan Brooks, Kyle. The Andersons got tickets to the game? How'd they get tickets? Brandon Clark, Jonas Valanciunas taking on Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Stone Cold, Steven Adams. It's going to get one board. What? 226.5 total, 1.5 point spread in favor of the New Orleans Pelicans. Jonas Valanciunas back in the mix, 7-3, 7-1. Center's kind of spoken for. Not really going to push the issue there. Ja Morant, why can't I quit you? 7K on FanDuel, 7-6 on DraftKings. I am at the Ja Morant slot machine. I will have Tier 3B exposures today. Was in 3 blowouts, right side, wrong side in the last game, 15 shot attempts, only made 6 of them. I would love to see more free throw attempts from the young kid, get to the line a little bit more, but at 7,600 going against a Pelicans defense that is exploitable, getting his big back, his J-Val back, maybe I can chip in a chair for a 50-point high ceiling game, but for the most part, I won't have a ton of it. I might have less than 10% of Ja Morant. On the Pelican side, I can see a lot of Pelicans falling through the cracks as well. It should be a medium-paced game. The defense is porous on the Pelican side, so maybe they play some catch-up, but the Grizzlies are playing stronger. But I do think the Grizzlies' price points, there's just really not a whole lot to be excited about. I only have Ja Morant projected for I only have Ja Morant as the only player projected for over 30 minutes, so I easily can kind of start stepping back from this game and not feeling like I'm going to miss out on massive ROIs in terms of fantasy salary. On the Pelican side, Lonzo Ball's had a stretch of great games. I got him for 32 minutes here. Ingram and Zion, they've been coexisting. Is there a roof? Is there a ceiling? The ceiling is the roof on these guys to get me 110 fantasy points today. Maybe. I just don't have a ton of high interest here. I think these are just stocking stuff for guys. I think Ingram can give me 40. I think Zion can give me 40. But I need that at these price points. So I'm not pushing the issue by any stretch of the imagination. The Pelicans do give up a lot of points via the 3-ball. If we go check out that team metrics tab in a RunDFS.com VIP spreadsheet, the Pelicans are giving up the second most points in the league via the 3-ball. Maybe Dylan Brooks gets hot from beyond the arc, under 5K on FanDuel. Sure, we'll go. I could play that, but other than that, I'm just not really pushing any height. There's probably no tier 2s for me in this game, and there's probably like 3 or 4 guys I'd have access to in a tier 3, and that'd be Ingram, Zion, Morant, and maybe a little kiss of Lonzo. And then, yeah, let's go check out the live chat before we move on. W. German says Wiggins 2 early fouls last game, played then little in the first half, and then still had nearly 30 fantasy points. Oubre got more touches that game as well. So I get the thought there, right? He had 30 fantasy points. They also scored almost 150 real points, and that's absolutely something that could happen again here because the Mavericks defense is just not great. But really just any team, 140 plus real points in the game seems a little on the high side. So I would be cautious with overreacting to the whole team essentially giving us a point per minute. Maybe we put a more league average, a more median total. And if they scored 120 here instead of 145, that's going to pull back, 5 fantasy points from a lot of guys, if not more. Desmond Bain, yeah. Why can't I quit you? And we get one game left on the docket. Immediately following this stream, I'm probably going to find some food, and then I'll be in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP voice chat. I invite you guys to come be part of that. We have a Top Shot channel where we're all just sad after today. But if you guys want to be part of this for the weekend, go to RunDFS.com, make yourself an account, get a week pass, try it out, and then jump in the Discord. There'll be a link to the spreadsheet and the Discord. Jump in the Discord. We have the NBA chat with up-to-the-minute news pulled from the internet, a lot of lab stuff like that. Jaylen Brown rolled out for Sunday, by the way. And then we'll have the voice chat. Young C's already chilling in there. You click on the voice chat. You can listen in, or you can grab a mic. You can talk with us. It's really, really easy. Instant process. RunDFS.com. Sign up. VIP passes. We have the month pass still at just $80 instead of $100. Great deal on that. Also, if you guys are looking for some Super Bowl square action, Twitter.com/Gundacker. I'll be over here. I'll probably have a link later tonight after lock. We're going to do $5 a square, 100 squares. I'm sure we'll fill that up pretty easily. If you guys want to have some fun, a little extra sweat for tomorrow without actually having some skill involved, RNG random number generator. I'll have that set up for you as well. Thumbs up. I want to hit that thumbs up. Let's get to the last game on the docket, and then I'll get us out of here. Detroit Pistons at the Los Angeles Lakers. Another double-digit spread game. The second one on the slate. Project starting 5 for the Pistons. DeLon Wright, Sadiq Bey, maybe Jeremy Grant, Blake Griffin, Mason Plumlee taking on Dennis Schroeder, Kentavious Caldwell Pope, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Marcus Gasol. Did Blake Griffin get ruled out after I typed that? Because I got him at 0 minutes. So, yeah, probably that's what happened, right? Blake and Drake? No, he didn't. But I just have him. I had him at 0. It's a back-to-back, right? Does he not play back-to-backs? I have him at 0 minutes. I don't know if I did it on purpose or not. Anyway. So a 13-point spread here. There's not a whole lot to love about the Detroit Pistons. They're going against the top defense in the league. They're super underdogs. Maybe Jeremy Grant muscles his way if he's just the only guy on the court with any type of usage. But there's not much to like here. On the Lakers side, AD was questionable, so there's at least an error chance that he didn't play. If he didn't play, obviously LeBron set up to continue his MVP campaign. He's at 10-6, 10-3. How do you get there over Harden? I don't think you do. So it's hard to have access to this game the way lineups are constructed. If you got this game blowing out, though, if you really want to get freaky in a 100K to first tournament, maybe Talen Horton Tucker goes off in the fourth quarter, something like that. That's not something I would play in single entry or 20 entry max, but if you're trying to chase 100K to first, going against 200,000 entries, maybe Talen Horton Tucker serves a purpose for that to happen, and maybe Montrezl Harrell, gets a fourth quarter of just going off. The Pistons allow 6.3 blocks per game, one of the highest in the league. If AD did play, he's kind of cheap. He could drop 50, 60 fantasy points. We've kind of said that for the last 2 weeks of worth of games for the Lakers. I think I think I'm low on this game. I would hate to not have a late night hammer because I do love some late night hammers, but man, nothing really screaming at me here. And I feel like the plays that I would like are the center spot, and I don't need another center. I don't know. Chat, you let me know. I'll get caught up on chat, then I'll get in the Discord. Sean says, we all learned from the Van Vliet career game. Stop calling him Van Fleet. His name is Van Vliet. Don't play a guy after that. I'm playing Oubre a lot. The more people shy away from him, the more I like him. Oubre a lot. I think Oubre's price on DraftKings. He can still do it. We saw him be a 35-minute guy. It's just his shot was not consistent at all. And he's in a good spot. If we go to that, where are we at? He's just in a good spot. The Mavs defense is not anything to be scared of, and he has the benefit of having 2 shot creators now if Draymond's going to get some point guard duties, and so is Steph Curry. So it's just the volume's been there all year. It's just a matter of making the shots. And don't think that all of a sudden he's found it. He's going to start leading the league in 3-point percentage. It's just a little of everything went his way. That was super ceiling game. 7K, I'm not comfortable on FanDuel, but the 6K price point on DraftKings, I could see 30. If I walked away at 35, I'm not upset, right? Can we just revisit the fact that Oubre shot 70% from 3? Hope people chase. That's what I'm saying. Like that's anomalic for everyone. Like even Steph Curry is not going to average 70% from 3 in a game, right? It's just he was just on fire. But at the same time, he's not going to shoot 10% forever, right? 30%, 35%, I think, is where we find him landing. And if the volume's going to be there, some days it's going to be better than others, and the matchup's right, and go for it. But yeah, he was on fire. For me, it's the fact that he's 6K on DraftKings still. I think there's room for value and or upside, right? Desmond says maybe some Josh Jackson in a blowout purposes as well. Yeah, I mean, if we're reaching, right? I got Josh Jackson. He's 5'2" on DK, man. 4-4 on FanDuel. I get it. Yeah, there's not much to love here. I'm sure something in this game will go bonkers, but for the most part, I don't really see much that I'm pulling from this last game. The bulk of this slate for me is going to be right there, that 7 o'clock stretch. So if we're taking notes, we're writing a pencil, watch the Joel Embiid news, just in case he doesn't play. He did hurt his knee in that last game. Watch Kevin Durant news. Watch the SGA news. It seems like there's a chance he could play. And was there anything else, chat? I think that's basically it. If you guys are on your way to is Osmo live, go check out Osmo. I'm sure they'll keep you updated. Otherwise, I'll be in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord. Come join us, have some fun, shoot the breeze up until lock, make some lineups with us, and then Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow. We'll not have a stream tomorrow. We'll be back on the airwaves Monday afternoon. What size slate is Monday? Monday, 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 game slate on Monday, 6 p.m. Again, and one game at the top of the hour, and everything else is 7 and beyond. Come on, NBA. What are we doing here? One East Coast game. We'll have some fun with it. So we'll be back on the airwaves Monday. Hopefully, I've been talking with my buddy Rich. We might start doing some sports betting content here, some player prop content in the morning. A lot of you guys have asked me about that. I definitely need some more video content to satisfy you morning grinders with your coffee. I know it's hard to catch that stream, so I definitely want to add more content to the channel that's not live. And I did talk with Rich last night about that. And then we have some potential announcements with partnerships and affiliations next week. So look out for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anything else? Chat, Kyle Kuzma, nice value if AD sits. Okay. Joe Harris and Juan Toscano or Beasley and Bruce Brown. Probably Beasley and Brown. Yeah. Joe Harris, I think, would need 25 real points plus to be a player tonight. And Toscano, Anderson, we're just hoping he muscles 30 minutes and PPMs, right? Taldegon just kind of still mad about OKC last night. What are you mad about? OKC did fine. Are you mad about Kenrich Williams? I'd be mad about that, but other than that, I think Ham Diallo, unless you played Dort and he got injured, I could see that. Anyway, chat, twitter.com/Gundacker. DMs are open. Super Bowl squares will be up tonight. I love you guys. I hope you absolutely crush it tonight. I'll see you in the RunDFS.com VIP Discord. We'll be in the NBA voice chat. Enjoy your Saturday night. Be safe. I definitely want to see you Monday. Let's enjoy the Super Bowl Sunday, man. I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. And go win some money.